All right, welcome everybody to the May edition of the Disability Ministry Virtual Roundtable from Key Ministry. My name is Beth from Key Ministry, and I am glad to see so many of you joining us here today. I see we have some new faces, some of our friends that join us pretty much every time, so I think this is going to be a great conversation. So basically what we're talking about today, and if you're new to this, we don't have like an agenda. So we kind of throw out a topic and it's really up to all of us to just ask questions or share our experiences. So we really do want to hear from you on this. So our topic today is all about what our kind of like, what is your church working on this summer as far as events, like either church-wide events or maybe even events specifically for your disability ministry. But what have you done to make the events more inclusive, more accessible? What are maybe some of the pain points? What are some creative solutions? What are some things maybe we haven't even thought about yet? So I'm going to open it up. If anybody would like to kick us off with either something that you're doing, something that you feel like you need help with, or just either a question or something to share. So who would like to start?
I would like to,
All
if
right,
I
Steve.
can. First of all, it was so great meeting all of you. I'm not sure if everyone was there at the Disability in the Church conference, but I just so enjoyed being with all of you.
And
Um,
we loved having you. So thanks for
Thank
being a
you.
speaker.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And the thing that I'm working on right now, I have my nonprofit called Spoken Heroes. And our program starts on June 9th, from June 9th to July 2nd. And what Spoken Heroes is a nonprofit that focuses on bridging the gap between the able-bodied and disability community. So we have high school and college students, and they work together, and we have trainings that specializes in self-advocacy, workforce readiness, communication, and we do it with the element of even storytelling. With me being a journalist, I was just appointed by Governor Phil Murphy for business engagement for the State Rehabilitation Council.
Awesome.
So I am accepting applications for any students that may be interested, and we're going on our second year, so I could use any sort of support. It would greatly mean a lot. Whether that's just pouring your expertise, I would love to hear that and see how we can work together. So I love people. I am a very, very people person. When I tell you I fell in love at that conference, it's just so many great people that I was able to really shake hands with. And you guys were just so great and so welcoming and very accommodating.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So if you don't know Stephen, I want you to learn a little bit more about him. Can you tell us your website, and we'll put it in the chat and we will put it on our platforms when we post this recording. Where can
Oh, that'd
people
be so
find you?
great. Yeah, that is spokenheroes.org. So www.spokenheroes.org.
Okay, HEROES.org.
Yes, and you can add me on LinkedIn, whatever
If you
your
put this with
preference
someone else.
is. Stephen McCoy on everything. If you, if even for
Did
accessible
you put
purposes, if you put
this
it
is
in
on the printer?
Google, all of the
So
social media will pop up.
okay, great. Thank you. So I encourage, that's your assignment, everybody. Go to spokenheroes.org and learn a little bit more about Stephen and his ministry, and the opportunities that they have right now for like training, and it's pretty exciting. So thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you.
All right, who else would like to share or ask a question? Anybody doing VBS this summer? Couple hands going up. Yeah, yeah. Are you doing an inclusive VBS? Are you doing like a disability access kind of thing? What do you have going on?
So our VBS is actually just in a couple of weeks. My name is Kathy, the special needs minister at my church. And we will partner with our kids in preschool team, even though disability ministry is a separate ministry at our church, so that we're studying the same stories and material. My area, my space will be open, as there's some behaviors that just will not do well in an inclusion environment. Just a lot of sensory processing disorder, a lot of elopement, and other behaviors that can be serious behaviors. And so our area will be open. And that was a separate registration so that I could get information and specifics from the parents and guardians. And that will be really for younger teens, for the younger teens and younger all the way through preschool. I think my youngest is 4. But then what we're doing is what we realized the last couple of years, one of the fastest growing areas for our VBS were adults, older teens and adults.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've partnered with several group homes in the areas. And the older teens and adults are going to be coming in the afternoon instead, to give them a little bit more dignity so they're not walking the hallways with preschoolers and, elementary aged kids and stuff. And we can change kind of the worship a little bit for them and make it a little bit more dignifying. And so they'll be from 2 to 4. So although it's the same stories and stuff that the youngers, we've kind of turned it more into table group discussions and some fun activities and some free time where they'll have the options to choose what they get to do for fun and for playtime, kind of a rec time. So I think that's going to be really big for some of our adults that are participating in this. And we don't call it VBS, so it's not, Vacation Bible School, even though that's what everybody knows what it is. We call it Adventure Week. And
Oh,
so it
love
just
it.
gives it a little bit of a different name and title, and because words really do matter.
Yep, I love that. That's great. So thank you. So what I'm hearing is that, so you're kind of doing 2 things. So you have like the typical Vacation Bible School, but your like sensory friendly area is open so that students can move in and out as they need extra support,
Correct.
or if they need an environment that is more sensory friendly, shall we say.
Yeah.
But then you're also offering sort of like a mirrored event at a different time for teens and adults. It's more age appropriate. So still using some of the same, like teaching the same stories and that type of thing, but giving them the dignity of not doing the event with preschoolers.
Yes.
And even your choice of words is honoring by calling it Adventure Week and not Vacation Bible School.
Correct.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Who else would like to share? Well, I'll share something. So, I would love us to talk about churchwide events and what we can do to make them more accessible and more inclusive. I'd also love to talk about some events that are intentional for folks with disabilities. So for instance, do any of you do like a karaoke event? Oh, come on, people, I need advice.
I'm working with a church on planning one right now that'll be in
Okay. So what do you know so far?
Well, I know that that the nonprofit I work for has an activity hub where we do karaoke every month, and we have people just bursting at the seams to come to that. So now there's 2 sessions of it. So
Okay.
one from, I think it's 1 to 2, and then another one from 2:30 to 3:30. So that
And
we
is
have
it
room
in the
for everybody.
location that I'm picturing?
Yes, yep, the
To
one you
your
came to,
place,
yep, at
yes,
King's
okay.
Table, yep.
Okay.
And then I've been meeting different group homes and stuff, and found out about another church that's really well connected with a handful of group homes. And we just got to talking and said, wouldn't it be fun to do something here and invite the group homes the church is already connected with and others? So we're like, yeah, we'll do a karaoke party in their basement because they've got all the stuff to be able to do karaoke really, really easily. So, a microphone and a speaker setup and an easy way to have the lyrics on the screen. And so we're just going to invite all of the group homes that we've been working with, connected with, who come to our activities, or that we're trying to target so that we can connect them with churches. And so I've got that coming in this September. And then we also, with another church, they're putting on a carnival in June. Again, just inviting neighborhood area group homes, and the youth group is putting this on. So the middle school and high school youth groups are combining to put on this carnival. So they're just pulling out all the games and stuff that they use in children's ministry, youth ministry, and for their VBSs. And they're going to put together a foam pit and, you know, cornhole and whatever other games they have kind of in their stuff. And the kids will be the ones manning the stations, leading the games, doing the prizes, all of those things. So that I think is really cool, because it's kind of, it's like
a service opportunity.
Exactly. Kids you get to actually serve and get to know the neighbors in your neighborhood who have disabilities and live in group homes right around you. So karaoke, I'm learning about, but it is a huge hit. People love it.
Well, it's been a big hit at our Night to Shine events. And so, you know, normally when we do events like a game night or that type of thing, it's usually in the evening. But lately I've been talking with some group homes, and they are looking for things to do during the day. And so I thought, well, let's try. So I was thinking maybe karaoke and pizza, like over kind of the lunch hour. So
wow. Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
don't know.
We
So, but Tori,
rotate.
thank you. That's good. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we rotate our activities. So it's karaoke, bingo, movie.
Okay. And do you do like, is it always during the day, sometimes at night? Like
Yep.
what is
All of our programming is during the day, so that even like young adults who are in school, but do like community interaction stuff, or people who are in day programs, so they kind of get transportation to their day program, and they might come with their day program workers. If they do that, then the staff need to stay with them and stay engaged. It's not a drop-off deal. So that's, I think, the tricky piece that you want to think about is this like a drop-off thing where it's respite for caregivers, it's, you know, staff from group homes can drop people off, or are you asking them all to stay and participate, right? What's your volunteer capacity like, right? Those kinds of things, I think, are the things you want to make sure that you're very clear about, whether it's staff are on hand and engaged, or it's a drop-off situation. And both obviously can work. You just want to know what people are signing up for and what kind of liability things and just all of those pieces and the volunteers.
That's a good point to remember. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's better to have that conversation beforehand than
right. Yeah. Just so everybody knows going into it. And now I don't remember where else I was going with something. I feel like I had a question or a thought, but oh well.
All right. Well, we'll come back to it anytime, Tori. I want to go back to, go ahead, Sarah.
Say a few years ago we did a combination of Night to Shine and then followed it up with like monthly karaoke nights. And so we did a Friday night like with the family type of thing. It would have gone just as well if we had done a lunch hour like what you're talking about. But I think that the special part about, I mean, karaoke is going to be fabulous no matter what. Because they just love karaoke. But I think the special part of it for us was that the family came. And so while the kids were having fun going up and singing and doing all of that and socializing with one another, the leadership team, the pastors, were able to kind of fellowship with the parents and get to know them a little bit better and kind of make some connections there. And that was really, really key, because that's what helped the parents feel more comfortable with the church, so that they could then start consider coming on Sunday mornings, knowing that their kids would be safe with, you know, the church gets it. There would be buddies, you know, all of that the church is all in kind of thing. So that was really successful for us, was that kind of doing like the community outreach and the introduction, you know, with families that way.
I love
so
that.
I guess it would depend on the goal of the church, you know, as far as what they want to do. But we were looking to start a disability ministry and invite families in. And so that's kind of how we did it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So first of all, identifying, like articulating what your goal was. and you were looking to get more people coming on Sunday mornings. And so having the leadership there to fellowship with the families while the individuals were enjoying karaoke or what have you, that was giving them the comfort level to then try church out. I love that.
Yeah. And then there was a secondary piece to that, of that a lot of times the kids like wanted to go up and sing with somebody. And so sometimes they would pick a volunteer or a ministry leader or the pastor himself. And that gave an opportunity for those people who might have been a little bit timid or hesitant, like not knowing what it's like to interact with this community. All of a sudden they were having a fantastic time and having so much fun and laughing and interacting. And so it really kind of took away their nerves as well.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. All right. So here's what we're doing next. We're going to go with Skeeter and then Rachel, and then I'm going to address something in the chat. Skeeter, take it away.
Okay. We have enjoyed having times with a DJ where we can all sing along, sing our solos, and we have done that in collaboration with other churches. We are not a church. We've had 3 or 4 churches that have looked to support their own ministry, to be involved. I mean, it's just a hoot just to be able to be together and have folks up front singing like opera stars. It's loud and trying to be on tune. One thing that we have done several times now that we just were not sure at all that it would work, we have had a silent disco. Anybody familiar?
I know a little bit about it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we thought it was going to be horrible. But now we've collaborated with a couple of other churches and had just huge response. Everybody gets a headset and you can tune into one of 3 quote stations where there's a live DJ playing music, and you just for our friends who like silence, they can have it. For our friends that like to yell and scream and run around and dance, they can have it. You can watch one group over the corner, or another one doing a cha-cha or the shuffle or whatever. It has been wonderful, a wonderful experience for us and our friends to be able to do that.
Thank you. So Skeeter's audio is a little bit, he's outside, it looks like, so it's a little bit iffy. So I'm just going to rephrase it just so we all hear it. But so Skeeter's with an organization called David's Table, and I strongly encourage you to check them out as well. As you said, they are not a church, but they are really a connector and a hub, and they do some really great programming. I think it's davidstable.org, I'm pretty sure.
It is. Yep.
So his suggestion is a silent disco. You're getting some shout outs in the chat for that. But that is something, yeah, I think I'm going to look into that as well, because that gives people the option to choose the music or no music at all. So I love it. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go to Rachel and then the chat and then back to Kathy.
Hi, so we're based in the UK. I don't know if there's anybody else here that's from England, but yeah, I love all these ideas about kind of adult disability ministry and stuff. And it kind of, yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about what we do, because we've kind of worked backwards. It's something that's quite heavy on our hearts is in making sure that we're discipling these adults too. I think we can so easily just become like, oh, it's disability ministry, we'll have a party and stuff like that. But like centrally, we all need relationship with the Lord, and they deserve that too. So we started in our monthly evening service on a Sunday. So we have weekly morning services and then a monthly evening service, and we have kids with additional needs in the mornings, and then our monthly 5 p.m. we were having adults so that they could kind of engage with worship with the whole church and then step out and learn the same themes and topics but in a more tangible and accessible way, that kind of meets them where they're at but doesn't underestimate their capacity to actually receive and meet with the Lord and learn and receive and stuff. And then hopefully soon we're going to be starting a midweek as well to kind of bridge that gap. And we're kind of in the same thing of like, it's not a drop off. We don't have enough of qualified volunteers to kind of take these adults completely into our care. So we're trying to work towards having a bit of carer support as well, to be a base for them, to signpost them to support, to give them a coffee and some cake and chat to them and stuff. And then also for those adults to provide a midweek space for worship, friendship, connection and stuff like that through sensory activities. And one big thing in the UK is that funding for adults with additional needs cuts pretty much as soon as they turn 18. So they are quite isolated. They don't get to get out, meet people, and it's just very lonely for them. So we're hoping that that'll be an opportunity to bridge a gap from not knowing church to coming on a Sunday and actually being part of church, but also a space where they can build genuine friendships and genuine connection and meet people. Because there's definitely, I don't know if it's the same in America, but we have a huge gap for adults with additional needs. I think people can be quite on board with children. They're like, yeah, let's get behind that, we'll do that. But with adults, they can sometimes be resistant and a reluctance to actually bring on that support and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Thank you. You shared so many ideas and just the heart behind like why we're doing this. You're right. Like, and just as I think it was Sarah that said, like, what's the goal? Like, it isn't just to do, you know, fun events. It is about discipleship. And so I love what I heard was that, you know, individuals are engaging in worship with the whole church, and then, you know, maybe then getting some, like not breaking away, but the opportunity to engage with some of the teaching, like where they're at without underestimating their capacity for learning. And I just love how you're thinking through like including caregivers and that type of thing too. Thank you very much for sharing. I'm looking on my screen and now I don't see where you are, but thank you. All right. I want to, let's see. So in the chat, and then we'll get to Kathy. In the chat, how are you doing this for kids and adults who are pre-speaking or nonverbal? And I think that was in reference to karaoke, I'm guessing. But would anybody like to talk a little bit about how you're engaging individuals whose primary form of communication is not the spoken word? Anybody want to take that one?
Mostly we just let people, you know, hold the microphone, and some will sing and some don't, and they're just up dancing and enjoying the time and the music. And some go with the words and some don't offer their words because they don't use words.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just not a big deal whether you use words or not to us.
Right. Right. We all worship different ways or sing, you know, Bon Jovi different ways.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. We're big with worship scarves here in our whole children's ministry area. And I think that's always like a good one to break out, you know, with any crowd.
Yeah, or shakies or clappers. I mean, go with the gifts of what people like to do.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes kids that are nonverbal or non-speaking, they can sing.
Mm-hmm.
They can put words together when they sing. That was amazing to me when I first saw that. Or they don't care if they're not understood. They'll get up there and sing anyway. So I've never seen it to be a barrier.
Yeah. Thank you. Charlotte, you had
I would say,
oh, Zach, go ahead. Zach, Charlotte.
No, I was just gonna say that I used to do we used to do karaoke periodically at a day have I went to, and words, and every single person loved to get up and do it. And just to kind of piggyback on top of what was said earlier, sometimes they would know the words and sing them, and sometimes they didn't, and no one cared. And you know, for a lot of our kids in worship, a lot of our special needs kids, we'll go do worship with all the kids, and while a lot of them can't read, they're still up in front leading with motions. They're still having a great time. It's just, one of those things where I don't know if anybody is like, oh, they can't read, they might not know the word list. They don't care. And like you said, worship looks different for different people, and different abilities. But what I, of course, probably like all of you have found is that our special needs people love music. So I think anytime we can involve them in that, they're going to have a great time, and they don't care if they know the words or they're not able to read them. They're probably just having a good time.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about pre-readers as well. So if you're in a setting that includes like preschoolers, who maybe aren't reading yet, like I know our children's ministry does a ton with hand motions when we do our singing and dancing. And
yeah.
So that's something that I think, everybody can kind of enjoy. All right. I think Charlotte had something on this topic, and then we'll go over to you, Kathy.
Yeah, I was just thinking egg shakers have been really popular, and they're not so loud that it hurts the other
That's true.
ears. And then boom whackers can be a lot of fun, a great way to express themselves as well. And I also like the streamers, we use like the rubber loops with the spikes on them, and they're from Impressa. They also have a Hedgehog brand, and then tie streamers or ribbons to them. And people seem to really love that because it has a lot of sensory input, and they can have the visual then to participate. And that's been a really popular thing as well. But yeah, I love the egg shakers. It seems like everyone loves those, and they're not too irritating to other people, it seems. And then the boom whackers are just a lot of fun too. Oh, and a kazoo. They love kazoo. We've been doing kazoos, and those are really fun.
Wow,
not everybody can do a kazoo, but it really doesn't matter. Like it's just fun. And you're still participating whether you really are, doing it correctly or not. It's just fun.
We made some shakers. I was just gonna say you can making shakers is a great craft. We did it with toilet paper rolls and rice and packing tape this past weekend. It's just an idea that if you don't have any money like our ministry, I know sometimes we have different funds, but it's a really fun craft for them because they get to decorate and then they have a shaker. So it's just, since you said that, I wanted to kind of throw that in there that, we literally used, toilet paper rolls, rice, and packing tape.
Yeah. That's just.
And they had a great time because they got to color on the roll.
It's a twofer.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm laughing because my children's ministry colleague is on this Zoom, and I'm wondering what she's thinking about if we gave everybody in children's ministry kazoos one morning. All right. Just one more thing. Rachel, who we heard from earlier, said John Swinton, Becoming Friends with Time, brings some great stuff. Has some great stuff on this. So that's something to check out as well. All right, Kathy, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so just to add to the worship thing, and then I'll make my one point, is we've used pool noodles before, cut them in half, and so they can use that as drumsticks. And so that's been a lot of fun for a lot of our participants too with worship. And the other thing we've done is just get like playground balls or rubber balls, and they can bounce them to the rhythm or bounce them to a friend back and forth. And so that helps a lot too. So just some things we've done in the past, but churchwide, as far as summer, every ministry has camps or activities or events that people need to register for. And so what we did a few years ago is we looked at the questions asked on registration so that we could make sure we were catching those and best serving and ministering to those individuals and those parents and families. So even like junior high, when they're going to camp, there's a question on the registration form that parents can ask. And it's something like, does your child have, I think it says like a physical, psychological, behavioral, or emotional need that we can meet in a special way? And so it's very non-assuming, but it allows the parents to share whatever they want to share. And this has been huge for all the different camps for sensory processing disorder. This has been huge even for anybody who's on the spectrum. But it also has been helpful with kids, especially junior high and high schoolers who might have dyslexia and don't want to be asked to read out loud. And so now we can tell their small group leaders that. And so that's just a way that we can really serve those families well across ministries in all of our church summer activities. So just thought I would share that.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, because I meant to bring that up earlier. And I love the specific examples you gave for like youth, like student ministry.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to read a little blurb. So many of you know Sandra Peoples, and she has some great resources on putting together VBS. And we will be sure to include her website. I think it's sandrapeoples.com, I think, but she has a whole section on VBS. But this is a little blurb that they put on all of their registration forms. And it says, "We care about the safety and success of all the kids who attend our VBS. Does your child have any allergies, special needs, learning disabilities, or behavioral or mental health diagnoses we can be prepared to support?" So I think that's just really well done, because it allows, parents to, it's like a non-assuming thing, like you said. So yes, I think that's important to consider that up front and ask those questions during the registration process. All right, and let me see, Lisa, what do people call the person on staff that serves special needs accommodations, etc.? Okay, so, and people are replying in there. So that could be, we'll gather those. If anybody wants to answer that question in the chat, we'll gather that as well. Kathy, did you have another? No, that was your second point. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm like looking at so many things right now. All right, who else would like to comment or share or ask a question? Yeah, Charlotte.
We are in the middle of piloting a Universal Design for Learning Bible study. And so anyone is welcome to use it. It is free and it is on our website. It is actonhisword.com. And you can also get to it from overcomerministries.com. But we've made a separate website for it, which is actonhisword.com. And it's Universal Design for Learning framework. It uses multisensory learning. Specifically, we use drama, readers theater, so that everyone can be involved. And we've included lots of different ways for people to be involved with different abilities. So the whole intent is for people to come together for discipleship. And I love what you all were saying about the discipleship. That has just really been on my heart, as well as just making sure everyone can hear the gospel and learn the Bible. And so the material is not really watered down. It is very in-depth, but there's a lot of varying of depth. So you can really tailor it to a lot of different abilities for learning. And it's very multisensory. So there's a lot of choices in how to teach. People can individually choose how they want to learn, as well as the leader can choose, knowing their participants in the study, and really just encouraging everyone to be involved, of all abilities together. So like, for example, the Reader's Theater has sound effects, lighting, props, and things like that people that are nonverbal could participate in. There's lots of different reading levels in the Reader's Theater, so you can choose your own reading level. In the website itself, it has a ton of accessibility features, so people can really tailor that to their specific needs and learning needs as well. So anyway, you're welcome to use it. It's free. We are in the piloting, so we'd love your suggestions on ways we can improve it. And there are some bugs, I will just warn you. We're working on those still, but we're a work in progress. But we would love to have people use it and give us their feedback on it.
Thank you, Charlotte. So you need to check out Overcomer Ministries, first of all. So Charlotte, if you could throw both of those URLs in the chat, we'll make sure to get your Overcomer Ministries, and then the specific, I've already forgot the name, but
Act on His Word.
Yes, thank you. It starts with an A. Okay, Act on His Word. If you could throw that in the chat, and we'll make sure to get those posted when we post this on YouTube and Vimeo. So I want to read from the chat. So the question was, what are people's job titles, or, or volunteer titles, I suppose. So, so we have disability ministry coordinator. So this person started out as a special needs coordinator and changed to disability ministry coordinator. We've got a special needs director, special needs minister, additional needs and disabilities pastor, director of disability engagement, that's me, special needs director, pastor of special needs. We've got kind of a variety here. And we are going to do a roundtable on the language of disability at some point, because that's something that I'm really thinking through a lot these days. And so I'd love to get a lot of input on this. All right, I wanted to throw out, and feel free to like raise your hand if you've got more things we want to talk about. This is sort of tangentially related to when we do churchwide events, and it's not necessarily disability related, but how are you all accommodating like dietary needs when it comes to, like, if you're planning a churchwide event? Does that make sense? Like, how are you taking into account that there are people who are gluten-free or dairy-free or, vegetarian or whatever? Does anybody have any really great ideas on how you handle that? Tori, do you?
I mean, I'm always just like, just think for it, whatever you're going to do, make sure it's options. So if you're going to put out a meal, do salad bar or taco bar, or like build your own kind of stuff and just offer the options and try to find out anything you can about what people can or cannot eat and label things appropriately, and just offer it as options. A lot of times, it can be just as easy to say, bring your own snack if you're, if you're there for an hour and a half or something like that, or if you're going to do it over the lunch hour, you can do bring your own lunch, which actually for adults living in group homes or in day programming, that can actually be really a good thing, because then it's even more of their day to like figure out what they're going to pack, and then they pack it together, and then they come and they eat with you, and it's adding to the activities and the community engagement that they're doing. But yeah, if you are providing food, I'm always like, just think for what can you provide that leaves so many options open for people to pick and choose what works for them, and try to find out what you can about dairy, the big ones, dairy, soy, gluten, vegetarian, stuff like that.
Thank you.
As someone who has a lot of food allergies, if it's labeled, it really helps me figure out, because I will not eat it if I'm not sure, because I would get really sick. So yeah.
And we know this exactly, because the speaker dinner at the conference, if I remember, Chris, like,
it's all good. No,
probably gluten-free, but we didn't know 100%, and so it wasn't a safe thing for you. And I apologize for that. Like, that's
it's totally fine. Yeah. I just know, like, I would always write labels for everything when I had it, but I did mostly little kids, so it was a little easier. Everyone knows goldfish, so.
All right. So if anybody's willing to type in the chat the text that you use for asking about allergies or disabilities or other accommodations. I will include the one that I read. But if anybody else has anything they want to type in the chat to help with that. And then I'm going to call on Rachel.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about allergies as well. Because so in a more general sense, we'll try to like label things and accommodate the key allergies of like gluten, dairy and stuff like that, and label that. But then obviously within disability ministry and stuff like that, depending on needs, you might have children or adults that grab and will just, maybe they have pica or something like that, and so they want to just stick things in their mouth. But also in terms of dietary needs as well, we have a couple of children that have blended diets and stuff like that. So for us, we've also had to kind of be wary of what's our limitations and boundaries within that, in terms of qualification as well, of like, can we actually assist with feeding in that sense? So we try to either do like set snack packs. We always ask for allergies first. We also encourage parents to send their child with their own snacks, because so many kids will have safe foods and stuff like that, and sensory sensitivities and things like that. Yeah, and then blended diets as well is something that we try to avoid, just to not make ourselves liable for a ton of things. But yeah.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, and you opened up like another level of being prepared. Yeah, the blended diets and that kind of thing is something that yeah, to take into consideration. I'm putting in the chat the thing that I read from Sandra Peoples' website right now, in case anybody wants to grab that. And again, she has just a wealth of information on her website. Yeah.
If I can speak as the parent of a child who has food restrictions, for my child, anytime that he goes somewhere where there's a question of if there's going to be food, he feels really bad if food is offered and he can't participate. And so if we are a regular, like at the new church that we're going to, if it's something that's planned, there's going to be ice cream for everybody. He can't have dairy. You know, that's something that's planned to accommodate. So there's something available to him. Our Sunday mornings, they've eliminated snacks completely, which greatly reduced his stress. But like someone else said, if you're going to be doing food, I think it's really important that it's something that's accessible to everybody. I think there's something wonderful about sharing food. And sometimes that just means people bring their own and you just provide drink options. Like there's a couple different, you know, fruit punches and everybody feels like they're still sharing, but they all have their own main food. And then there are other situations where it's better to eliminate food completely. If you have a child who has Prader-Willi syndrome, that could be like super triggering for them to see food that they can't have. So I think you really have to know, not know your audience, but I think it can really depend on, and you're not going to do the same thing the same way with different groups and different programs. And but yeah, just making sure that if you do provide food, that there's something available for everybody.
Thank you. That's a very important perspective. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to go back to the chat. Let's see. Couple shout outs for With Ministries. And Kristen, if you want to throw the website in there, so people can check out some of the like intake form ideas and that type of thing. Nathaniel's Hope Buddy Break also does this well. So it says offering respite and lots of fun, but having the eating room be a bring your own and eat when and how it works for you. So it's kind of like letting the family make the decision on what the guest is going to eat and how. Let's see. So With Ministries recommends asking, what are some areas of strength and gifting? What are some areas of struggle or challenge? Is there anything else that you would like for us to know? So kind of that open-ended question. Rachel uses planning center forms to create a support plan / profile for each child. That's Planning Center, the software, right? Yeah. And since they're from the UK, it's RE. Ours is Planting Center ER. But yeah. Okay. And yes, With Ministries is literally withministries.org. Thank you, Kristen, for sharing that in the chat. We're gonna have a lot of good resources for y'all to go back and peruse. All right. Any other? Let me look at my notes and see. Oh. Something I want us to think about, and we kind of threw this out when we did some social media leading up to today's roundtable, but you know, there is a difference between having events that someone can attend versus having events that people can truly participate and serve. And so kind of thinking that through as we are designing our events and hosting our events. And again, a lot of this, I'm picturing like the church-wide things, like if you're doing, you know, like even summer social type things, and just any church-wide event, or like as we're getting, I mean, I know it's only May, right? But we are already planning ahead for the fall. So if you're kicking off like a church-wide Bible study this fall, or I mean, I'm not kidding, but some of us will be planning Christmas Eve services soon. You know, how are we thinking through what this looks like for individuals and families with disabilities? Another shout out about Planning Center is that I'm reading from the chat now, is that all allergies and accommodation needs can be entered onto a child's name tag, which gets printed every single time they check in. So you're not having to get that information every time. It's part of their profile. Thank you for sharing that. All right, any other?
I have a question about
Yes,
that.
sure.
So Planning Center is great and name tags are really great, but how do other people handle that? We have some food allergies, but we don't want to print information on people's name tags that everyone can see. So how are people handling that?
Yeah, does anybody have anything they want to share there? Yes, let's see, Leanna.
Hey, so I'm the one that put that in there. We do print that because parents can actually put that, like a peanut allergy would be something that we felt wasn't something that was so private, but more of a life-saving necessity. You know, if a peanut allergy, it's, you know, the Planning Center name tags are, you know, they're printed every single time, so they're just a stick-on, and it was something like that was so important. So I guess the question to respond to that would be, what would you consider that would need to be not not on a name tag that would need to be you know, accommodated?
Yeah, Andrea, do you have a particular?
Yeah, just when she put that in there, I think that's right. We have peanut allergies or some certain things that, right, it doesn't really seem private, but it's needs to be on there for everyone to see. And then, yeah, we've just sort of struggled with what are those other gray things of everyone doesn't.
So you can also, like my son needs to have a parent called every single time he uses the restroom. And so we have call parent for restroom. Or like if a child has a, like for instance, let's say a watch, and you know, maybe that's, maybe call devices aren't allowed in the classroom, you know, like, so you might just be able to put watch accommodation approved. Just so that a teacher isn't trying to say, oh, no, we don't allow, you know, cell phones in the classroom. They can look at that name tag and say, no, that watch accommodation is approved. And they know that it's because of a medical, you know, reason, or, you know, some kind of disability accommodation, or they can just write, you know, DA, and in your training process for your volunteers, they know that DA is disability accommodation, and there's a phone number or, you know, a parent call, and they just know that DA means there's some kind of accommodation. And so you need to ask the parent at check-in, if they have DA on their name tag, hey, you know, step aside and before they enter the classroom, hey, what is their DA? And then you can have that conversation in private, and it's not, you know, blasted all over their name tag for everyone else to read.
Right.
I guess that's how I would maybe, you know, you can have a code, and that code may not even be DA, so that all the kids are asking, hey, what's DA stand for? Because I could assume they might come up with another term for that. But you know, maybe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 code. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's a word like smile. but parents and volunteers know that it is for a different accommodation.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I like the creative thinking around, like maybe not printing exactly what the accommodation is on the name tag, but that's a communication tool so that your volunteers know to communicate with the parents and get that information.
Right.
I'm throwing this out because at our church, the East Wing, which is where all of our, children's ministry and Sunday morning, anything with our disability ministry, everything's on the East Wing. It's not free. So, nothing that we serve is going to have nuts like in the classrooms and that type of thing. We just eliminate that. All right. Well, gosh, that time flew by. Thank you all for sharing today. We're going to get this posted on our YouTube and Vimeo platforms. And we're going to put together like a little companion piece to go along with it based on some of the resources that you shared today. So thank you very much for being part of this. We do these the third Wednesday of each month at noon Eastern time. And then I also want to invite you to our idea share, and that's the first Monday of each month at noon Eastern. And it's just an opportunity. We don't have a specific topic, but it's just an opportunity to brainstorm and encourage each other. So go to keyministry.org/events to check that out. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you again on one of these soon. Thank you.